Welcome to Activations with JJ Ascension message. In today's episode, I will be answering questions that were sent to me by you, my beautiful listeners, and the topics include all things related to channeling and more details about Sirius and Sirian Starseeds. I'm excited to get started, so let's go. Greetings, my friends. Here we are. It's another episode, but this one is different than I have ever done before. In fact, the reason why I created this is because I'm now doing a monthly channeled Q&A gathering where we come live and people present questions to me. But I thought for those people who cannot make it to these live virtual gatherings, why don't I open up a way for them to ask me questions? And so here we are. I will be responding to questions that were posed in the YouTube comment section. So if you aren't following me on YouTube, I suggest you hop over there because guess what? You can actually add a question to this episode and you might see it answered in my June Q&A. So what we're going to go ahead and do is hop through those questions. My intention is to bring through insights from my own personal experience and also channel our guides and higher selves to see what they want to bring through in ways that will help us with these questions. Thank you again to the beautiful souls who asked these questions. All right. The first one says, when you are channeling, do you either hear the voice telling you the message or see it on like it's written on a white screen, or does it not always happen in such an obvious way? So that one, I will be just sharing with you my personal experiences, and I have to admit that when I am channeling, it does not always come through in a set way. Like it's different all the time. Sometimes it'll come more as a visual. So occasionally I do see it written out as words, but that's technically not the most common for me. The most common for me is to hear it in my clairaudience or know it in my claircognizance. And then I also do sometimes see something. And I feel like one of the reasons why my guides will show me something, and this actually happened yesterday in a session, I was dropping in for someone and I was trying to understand why they were having a particular physical issue. They were very, very sick. And so I came in and their guides did not say a word. They just started showing me things like I was watching a movie, and they were trying to illustrate for me, I think, what was going on with her body. So what I had to do as the channeler was to put that into words for her. So first, I just described the scene, and even in describing it, it didn't make a ton of sense. But then I thought, I kind of, between myself and her guides, pulled it into sort of enough of an explanation verbally that we were able to grasp what was going on. But sometimes the information that they're trying to send us doesn't come through very well with language, and that's why sometimes pictures are really nice for us to see. Now, for those of you who might feel frustrated when I say this because you feel like your third eye is not open, there are two things I want to remind you. These are things that came through in my recent psychic activation workshop. And I do want to let you know that that psychic activation workshop is actually available as an on-demand course. You can purchase it off of my website anytime. It is not a live virtual offering, and you can listen to those recordings. But one of the things that came through was the fact that oftentimes we're looking in our third eye straight in front of us, as if it was right in our line of sight, right there in front. When a lot of times what comes in the third eye is in our periphery, and we're forgetting we have blinders on, and we're like, it should be right in front of me, and it's over to the right, or it's a little above, or it's a little below, or it's over to the left. So I want you to think about that and play with that as you're bringing things in through your third eye. Now, the second thing that I want to mention is actually someone's comment to a question someone else posted on my YouTube channel. So thank you to that person who dropped in and started supporting. And what they mentioned was a lot of times you might want to just draw after you've received some energy and see what comes out of your pen or pencil, and just let yourself bring into the physical an image, and just begin by just doodling. This is something else that came through in the psychic activation workshop and also comes through a lot in my light language mentorship program. Just draw what wants to come through, just like a little child, just whatever whimsical images or symbols want to come through. That a lot of times will allow you to solidify what was dropping in the third eye if you can't see it very well in your third eye. And even if it's a stick figure that wants to come in, I've had it happen that way. I'm like, this isn't that pretty, and I don't think anybody would want to look at it. But it really helped me to bring into the physical realm what my guides were trying to invite me to see. So there's an answer to that question. We're going to move on to the next one. It's pretty clear cut, this next one. It's basically, what is the difference between channeling and meditation? So I know that people who are at the very beginning of their spiritual journey, you might wonder about some of this terminology. And I want to start with the word meditation. Meditation actually has a lot of programming built into it because we have a lot of preconceived notions as to what meditation is. And I have a lot of people who come into my sessions and they'll feel like, oh, I haven't been meditating lately, I haven't been doing it. And they feel like there's this sense of duty to what meditation is, which oftentimes is sitting in a quiet room on a meditation cushion, maybe listening to some, meditation music. But I want to let you know that my meditation does not look like that. And I've shared this maybe six or 8 months ago in a podcast episode. I think it was an Ascension Diaries episode about my journey. My meditation, 99% of the time, does not look like that. My meditation comes through when I am right before I go to bed or right before I wake up or when I'm driving. And occasionally, if I'm on a walk without my kids, my meditation happens when I'm just like walking through nature. All right. And I want to let you know that the reason why I started with addressing the question about meditation is that meditation is allowing me to be with me to be with my thoughts. And I do not force my thoughts to look any specific way. I just surrender to whatever wants to drop in. It could be super random. It could not be super random. It could be monkey mind. It could not be monkey mind. And sometimes I will set an intention that I want to focus on a part of my body or a chakra. And I make that, the next level meditation for myself. But whenever I meditate, it really creates the groundwork for the channeling, for the messages to come through, for the downloads. And another way that I see channeling is just like messages from spirit, messages from my higher self. I highly recommend that if you're at the very beginning stages, that you just look at it that way, that you don't try to overanalyze who's speaking to me. Just set the intention that the messages coming through are for your greatest and highest good. And in the end, all is spirit. All of it is source energy. And so we don't need to differentiate between who's bringing it through as long as we've set that intention that it will be for our greatest and highest good. And channeling comes in many different forms. This is a kind of a bigger topic that might take me a little bit more time to address. And so I'll just kind of leave it brief. But in my psychic activation course, I talk a little bit about our clairs. And for me, channeling is just communicating. Channeling is just communicating with different senses, receiving or transmitting with different senses, whether that's our third eye, whether that's our crown chakra, whether that's through our throat, whether that's through any of our other senses that we have. And so just remembering, you're always channeling, even though you don't realize it. You're always channeling. You are of spirit, you are of source, and you have a constant connection with source. It's only the veils that we chose to have during this human incarnation that might prevent us from realizing that we are channelers. So one thing that you can do to accelerate your abilities to channel and to expand those is to go to spirit and ask to have those veils removed. And I highly recommend you do that little by little. Because if you do it all at once, you might see a lot of things that look weird to you or feel a lot of things that are strange. So just asking those veils to be removed little by little. And that's how you access your ability to channel. Everybody can do it. Every single one of you. Okay, let's move on to the next question now. This one is a little bit longer. This one was asked by somebody who has a specific experience when they're meditating. And she says, when I meditate, I see colored orbs and wave formations. This is also accompanied by a vibrating sensation in my body and a feeling as if I'm going in and out like portals, just as a colored wave movement comes in and out. Is this me channeling, or is this just a normal meditation experience? Okay, so this is going to be fun because when I answer this, I definitely feel like this person's higher self wants to step forward and address her specific situation. This is actually something I get to do in that live virtual channeled Q&A because I will do readings for people during that. So if you're wanting to join us in June, I do have 4 spots at every one of those live virtual gatherings where you can receive a reading in front of the group, and it's very personal to you. And that's a really fun thing to be able to experience. Check out the link below if you're wanting to join us for that. But back to the question. So it's just going to take me a moment here to tune in. I'm going to take a deep breath, just showing you channeling in real time. And I definitely feel for this person that the veils are thinning. And so as the veils are thinning, she's now able to see dimensions and energies that she didn't see before. These orb and wave formations are energy signatures. And the first step of opening your senses and removing those veils is just seeing. So we don't always need to worry about what we're seeing. It's just exercising that ability to see. And after that, then you begin to ask, what do these orbs symbolize? What are these wave formations? And that might take you a while to bring through. You might not have it pop in right away, but maybe even just jotting those questions down. And even I want to invite you to do the same thing I said just a moment ago, drawing what you're seeing. And as you draw, you might get information on what those formations are, because I truly believe that for this person, her guides are talking to her. And rather than talking to her with voices, they're talking to her with symbols, colors, and orbs. And there are specific messages coming through that she could translate into her native language so that she can have clarity on what those messages are for. I do feel that those messages are related to your soul purpose as a light worker here on the planet. And so I want to invite you to lean into that to see if you can get more information. I know that your guides will bring it to you if you take the time and be patient. Be patient with yourself. And that's a message for everybody listening. Be patient with yourself as you're tuning to these messages. All right, here's another one. This one's fun because I just published a podcast episode related to it. And this person says, in my past life regression, I have been told that my soul is Sirian. Does that mean that I'm from Sirius? So it sounds like she had a reading and it maybe wasn't as specific and they didn't clarify for her more than that. Now I want to let you know some fun things that I learned just recently about Sirius. These partially came from the channeled message I brought through in my latest podcast episode with a channeled message from the Sirian Star Mothers, but I also found this on a website, and it really resonated with me and confirmed what came through. Many of you already might already know this, but the way that astronomers see Sirius, it looks like one bright star in the sky, but it's actually a binary star system. It's 2 stars, and they consider that to be Sirius A and Sirius B. Now, because I was led to additional information, I'm going to go ahead and let you know that I am quoting from a couple of different websites here. but I feel like it's important for us to learn a little bit more about the Sirian starseeds, and if you are one, and some of you may not know, but I want you to just listen and see if it resonates. I've had a lot of downloads personally about them. And Sirius A, of course, like I said before, and Sirius B are already known by astronomers. There's also a Sirius C that exists in the etheric realms that I'll talk about in a second. But let's talk for a moment about those planets. Lots of ancient civilizations knew that there were two stars, that there was Sirius A and Sirius B. And until later times when we had telescopes, modern day, they didn't know this. But ancient people believed that Sirius was the source of all life, all energy, and they knew this even before the astronomers of modern times did this. Sirius was at the core of the calendar, texts, and sacred knowledge of the ancient advanced civilizations of Lemuria, Atlantis, and land of Sumer. The sacred knowledge of the Dogon tribe in northern Africa and Aboriginal and indigenous tribes in Australia, South America, and Asia also revolves around the knowledge of this star. In Egypt as well, much revolved around Sirius as the gateway and center of all that is sacred. As far back as the very remote periods of ancient Egyptian history, the goddess Isis has been associated with the star Sirius. Specific pyramids were temples to Isis and to Sirius, her gateway and her portal. Now, I'm going to stop right there because that reminds me of my last podcast episode. We were talking about rehabilitating and reactivating gateways, and it was the stargates, which are gateways, and it was the Sirian star mothers who did this. Now, there's a lot more about this particular subject that I can leave the link below because I'm not going to spend the time reading all of this, but many of you know that Sirius B is known as the watery planet, and that this is where, the dolphins have come through for me personally. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit more about Sirius C, okay? Sirius C is the one that I thought was really fascinating. And this comes directly from another website, but it really resonated with me. So I ran it by my discernment when I read these things, just like you should, and just like when you listen to my podcast. Here's what it says. Sirius C is non-physical and invisible to the eye. It's on the etheric plane connected to the Sirius star system. It serves as a two-way portal where beings of light from other galaxies and universes enter our universe. So, again, this is the Stargate thing. Also, the souls descend to experience the lower realms. For example, a being of light from Sirius C decides to incarnate on Sirius B, and the ascended souls join the paradise of Sirius C. The high vibrational ninth dimensional world of Sirius C is home to unicorns, dolphins and whales, angels, elements of air and water, Christ light, Mother Sirius light, dragons of Sirius C, the illumined ones of Sirius C. And there's a lot on this website. There's this blog, and it's a beautiful, beautiful, place of information here with all of these blogs. Some of the things that stood out to me, because I know a lot of this is going to resonate with you, and you're going to want to look up what I'm talking about. The link is below. I put the link below so I can give credit to this beautiful soul for channeling this. One of the interesting things for me was that archangels Gabriel and Uriel hold a close connection with Sirius C. They and the unicorns watch together the energy blueprint of Sirius C and can make attunements and adjustments to it. And we know that everything in the universe is interlinked and intertwined. The changes in the energy output from Sirius C affect the whole universe and beyond. It's so interesting that she states this because I had a session once with somebody, and this person, their guide said that they were in charge of the power grid of the universe almost. Like I saw this person working with substations like they would on Earth, but substations all across the universe. And it was very obvious to me in seeing that this is absolutely true. It all works together. So fascinating. Again, I'm not going to read every part of this website because there's so much here. But I do want to let you know that I highly recommend taking a look at everything that she has written and channeled because it's really fascinating. The last thing that I want to drop in and say about Sirian starseeds is, yes, you will often feel that you are connected to mermaids, you are connected to dolphins, water animals, whales, but also I always feel that people who have a connection to Yeshua, Jesus, as well as Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary, they come to me as their Sirian selves. I see them through that Sirian Stargate that this blog mentioned. And it absolutely resonates with me. And they have come through many, many times over the last little while, where I'm beginning to see there are a lot of ascended masters also connected to Sirius. So there is a little bit of information for you. I hope that it's helping those of you who are feeling drawn to connect more with Sirius, as well as the person who asked this question. I highly recommend you take a look at some of my Sirian transmissions. I have light language and meditations where I've brought through the Sirians a few different times. And I think that might help also activate energies within you. As I close out this episode, I want to remind you that these are not possible without you asking questions. So please drop into the chat below, the comment section below, and let me know what your questions are for my June Q&A episode. That being said, we are almost to the end of May, but I do have one last gathering, and I'm really excited because speaking of Sirians, at my Galactic Family Gathering on the 27th of May at 2 p.m. Pacific, this is a live virtual gathering. I will be channeling the Sirian Star Mothers. They have asked me to connect with them again to follow up on what came through in my latest podcast episode about Stargates. And I am just going to call any and all Sirian Starseeds to join us, especially, and Lemurian actually. Lemurian and Sirian. I'm feeling really drawn to have you come. So this is your personal invitation from JJ to attend. You can join through the link below. That being said, if you are drawn to Lemuria and you have not joined our Golden Lemuria free community portal yet with lots of Lemurian resources, I want to encourage you to check out the link below to do that. In addition, I have one more exciting announcement, and then I'll have lots more announcements because I'm about to put out my June monthly energy update, and there's all kinds of things happening in June. But I do want to give you a little hint, a little peek at what we're doing in June. And some of the fun things that I have planned are in-person offerings in Los Angeles. If you are in that area, I will be offering a limited number of one-on-one sessions, as well as, I'm so excited for this, a live in-person solstice gathering. This will happen on the 25th of June. And my beautiful friend Shivi and I will be co-creating a solstice activation and cacao ceremony in Santa Monica at Into Me Sea, which is a gorgeous venue. So again, I'm just thrilled to be able to come and to be in person. I've been feeling drawn to do it over and over, and you're going to notice it's going to happen more and more. I have several in-person events coming up over the next few months, and please make sure you're on my mailing list so you can be one of the first to find out about these in-person both events, gatherings, all the things. So my friends, I want to make sure that I let you know I am so grateful for you and for your willingness to co-create in all the ways that you do. I would greatly appreciate a like or subscribe here on YouTube and even a comment with your question. If you are on Apple Podcasts, a review or a rating is also appreciated. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok. And you know what? I've actually decided I'm going to hop onto Facebook soon. So be on the lookout. My Facebook page will become active because I feel like there's a lot of sharing and things going on there that we can raise the vibration of that platform as well by being more present there as light workers and starseeds. And I know some of you are already there. So I'll be joining you there. All right, I'm going to leave you with my favorite little ending phrases. I want to let you know that I am sending you so much love and reminding you that I am you and you are me and we are we. Until next time.